Welcome back from the package that we do it right here on Daybreak Africa. We often start with our package for the day. We do hope that you enjoyed that one. It's time for our discussion, and we told you that our guest is already seated. Our discussion today is important because it is what is trending right now in the mouths of every Nigerian. Especially if you're from the grassroots. Now, it's no longer news that the federal government of Nigeria has been mandated to pay directly all allocations from the Federation accounts to local governments, democratically elected officials in Nigeria. The Supreme Court verdict did not come as a surprise for some, but it came as a surprise for others. When we started the show, we did tell you that there have been divergent reactions on the issue, the reason why we want to take it upon ourselves to discuss this topic today. Today, we shall be taking a look at the return of funds, analysis of Supreme Court local government autonomy verdicts. We have our guest, our fiery guest in the house, Olorunfemi Oladayo Samson, who is a political analyst. He is a trained journalist, political analyst, columnist, former media aide to a lawmaker, educationist, and public relations manager. He is right here with us this morning. Looking all dapper with his suit and tie. We appreciate you this morning.
You know, we are coming here to discuss the outcome of Supreme Court.
Yes. So you have to look like, a lawmaker.
Indeed.
So the Supreme Court verdict on local government autonomy, especially the return of funds to democratically elected local government officials, is a trending story that we know will not go away immediately. The reason why we want to talk about it, we are Nigerians, we are grassroots people, we make up the bulk of the society. This matter has been one that has been on ground for like forever. And it is not something we anticipated we will even see in our generation, but this administration has ensured that, you know, it comes to stay. So like we usually do, we will want your reaction from the moment you heard the verdict. And of course, backtrack a little bit, all the arguments that led up to the verdict, and of course, the verdict that we eventually have right now.
Yeah, thank you, Anire and Ezekiel. Thanks for having me once again. Good morning. Let me start by saying that, Anire, many Nigerians will not agree with you that the year should be on a slow pace, because looking at the economy that Nigerians are facing, Ezekiel, you know, since the removal of first subsidy now, the inflation on the high trajectory. We are not talking about 40-something% of our inflation rate. A basket of tomatoes now, we know how much they are selling in the market. So Nigerians want this year now to run as very fast. In fact, if we can fast forward it, if it is possible to fast forward the calendar now
Sam, to December 31. I want to react. I want to react.
December 31. So
I want to react. I must react to what you've said now. Remember, I told Ezekiel that every man within kettle, every aboking within kettle.
Exactly.
So I know the reason why I said so. Again, remember I said my friends almost cut off my neck. That this year is like the pandemic year, 2020.
But I don't forget that they're saying that minority we have the say, majority we have the way. So I think Anire, you belong to the minority. You have your say.
Those who agree say yay. Those who disagree say nay.
We majority we have our way.
I agree. I say yay. I say I agree. I agree now. I follow you people.
Once again, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Yes, on the issue of Supreme Court verdict, that the allocation of the elected, I like the word elected, because when you go to section 7, subsection 1 of the Nigerian 1999 Constitution, that place is very explicit and unambiguous that we shall have what we call a democratically elected local government chairman in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, when you go to the Constitution, we know, like I keep saying, that section 4 talks about the power of the legislature, section 5 about the executive power of the president and the state governors, section 6 talking about the judiciary. Then when you move to section 7 of the Constitution, particularly the one I cited earlier, 7 subsection 1, that talks about the democratically elected local government chairman. So when you go to the Constitution, you don't see where Constitution talks about caretakers. Neither will you see where Constitution talk about transition committees. So So I think the Supreme Court verdict has created a lot of reactions and counter reactions from a lot of people, even some governors now, and not even try to accept the judgment in good faith. We've seen some of them now trying to set up a committee. I think I just say Governor Seyi Makinde, he has set up a committee to look at the judgment of Supreme Court and so on and so forth. But I think you agree with it that under our law, under Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that we are practicing today, you see that there's a section of the Constitution that says that any pronouncement from the Supreme Court or any court, any competent court of jurisdiction shall ban on any individuals, group of people, government official, and so on and so forth. And we understand that we have hierarchy of court in Nigeria. And talking about the apex court, that is Supreme Court, we know that any verdict from Supreme Court, that is the final. You have no option. You have to agree. It's not an appeal court where you go and appeal at the Supreme Court and so on and so forth. So I think it has been creating a lot of national debate and so on and so forth. Don't forget that when the judgment came out, the former governor of Delta State, Chief Olorunfemi James Ibori, came out on social media to try not to align with the judgment of Supreme Court, and he cited Section 162, Subsection 2 of the Nigerian 1999 Constitutions that talk about federalism. So under that, the same section, Subsection 6 of Nigerian 1999 Constitution, that is under Section 162, talks about joint account. We are still coming back there, joint account. So I think the verdict of the Supreme Court, to me, is a victory to our democracy. It's a victory to grassroots development and a victory to the yearnings of many Nigerians all this while, that we need to return power to our local government system in this country. We need to return power to the grassroots, because we know that local government is closer to the citizens than the state government and the federal government of Nigeria. So people have been talking that a Supreme Court is or let me say, has it come a kind of infringement on the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in such a way that does Supreme Court has power now on that particular case to sit in such a way that money from federation account will not go to joint account now with the state government? Because before, what we have, like I said, under Section 162, Subsection 6, is that we're going to have what we call a joint account that we popular call JAC, you say now, joint account, so that money coming to local government will come to the purse of the state government. Then the state governors now will not sit at the state capital, determines how much will go to each local government areas. And that's why we've seen since 2007. Don't forget that between 1999 and 2007, we saw some viable local government expansion system in Nigeria. But since 2007, we've not seen much of viable local government expansion system in Nigeria, because they've been hijacked, and these are my words, they have been hijacked by the state governors in Nigeria, and this is highly irrefutable by anybody. We know that governors hijacked the local government administration system in Nigeria to a point that some governors wake up one day and dissolve local government administration. They appoint a caretaker committee. As a matter of fact, we've seen some governors in Nigeria that they dissolve democratically elected local government chairmen in Nigeria. And when you look at the summary of the Supreme Court judgment, is very clear that number one, no governor will have power now to dissolve any democratically elected local government chairman in Nigeria. Then number two, that particular section that talks about joint account, that's Section 162, subsection 6 now, automatically has been deleted from the Constitution. So that one is no more operational again. And that's why Supreme Court gave the verdict that the allocation of each local government area will come directly from the federation account, not through the state governors again. Don't forget that scenario played that out in Ogun State recently between the former local government chairman and Governor Dapo Abiodun, to a point that man was arrested, put to jail, witch-hunt, intimidated, harassed, to a point because he asked Mr. Governor about the allocation coming to his local government, that he suspected that the money supposed to come to local government did not come to local government. So we knew what played out at that particular time. But I think what people, this case is not over yet, Anire, if you ask me, and I will tell you why. Although money will be coming directly to local government now, don't forget, only elected local government. So if we see some local government, don't forget that over the weekend, 2 states conducted local government election. Adamawa conducted local government election. Delta State conducted local government election. You see now, and very soon now, Osun is coming on now to conduct its local government election. In fact, as a matter of fact, in all the 6 states in the southwest region, all the 6 states, only Osun and Ondo State that doesn't have a democratically elected local government officers. Lagos State, they have their own. Ogun State, Oyo State, and Ekiti State. So
what's
only
the implication of this now? What's the implication of this with the present situation in the country? The fact that some states don't have democratically elected local government officials, and the verdict has been given. What's the implication?
Before we go to the implication, I think if we have system that is highly viable, some governors are supposed to be in court today asking some lot of questions, and I'll tell you why. Because those governors with caretaker at their local government area, they are violating section 7 of section 1 of the constitution. What that place is saying that in each local government area, we're going to have democratically elected local government officials here. So governors that are here to conduct local government election now, in fact, they're supposed to drag them to Supreme Court of the land. Now the implication is that you don't have viable or democratically elected local government officers in your state, automatically no allocation for local government in that particular state. So your state will be running on state allocation again. So the implication is that in those states without democratically elected local government areas, they're bound to be a kind of economic problem in that particular state. Or we see more of problem down to the local government areas. Before, they don't have elected officers. They are running on this issue of caretaker committee, transition committee, and so on and so on. So now and before, no, the money have been coming to state purse, but state has not been releasing the money the way it's supposed to release the money. That's why today you go to some local government areas, in fact, you can even weep and cry for that particular, because you don't see anything working at that particular local government, because money that's supposed to come to that local government is not even coming, and the one that is coming is not even enough to carry out some project. In fact, when you go to Schedule 4 of the Constitution of Nigeria, you will see the key functions of the local government areas, places or those things that are supposed to be doing, to be generating money for local government, that will make them to develop the local government areas. But these things are not coming, because the money that's supposed to come down to local government area for them to use to develop their local government area is being under the hands of the state governors. So number one implication is that now the governors, now the money coming before now, that they live on, that they gallivant on, that they use the way, these are my words, that they use the way now, the money will no more come in again. So that's another problem, and that's why you see some state governors now, they are planning not to conduct their local government, because they know that Supreme Court verdict is key and you can't challenge it anywhere. Because money.
I tend to wonder now at this point, how does this really affect the relationship between the local government and the state government? Will it more like had a relationship already? Will it view, because at this point, should I see the governor can't exactly live without the chairman at this point, so they have to be harmony between them? Or is it more like
Ezekiel, the relationship will still be cordial, and let me tell you why. In as much the governors or state are still the one conducting local government election, and that's why I said that this battle is not over yet. The only time we can say that, or the moment we can say that this battle is over, that local government can stand on their own, is when we have made section 187 of the constitution. What do we have there? What we have there is that state government will be the one that will be conducting local government election under SIEC, that is State Independent Electoral Commission. That is the section of the law that empowers state to start conducting local government elections. So in as much state, the one I cited, Adamawa, it was state that conducted the last local government election. As a matter of fact, in all the 21 local government areas, PDP won all the 21 seats. In all out of the 257 councillorship seats, PDP won 256 councillorship seats. They left one for YPP political party in Adamawa. In Delta State, declared all the local government, all the councillorship seats. So in as much, you have to question about
maybe PDP are loved in the states.
No, Ezekiel, you ask about relationship between the local government and state government. In as much governors are still the one conducting local government election, the relationship will still be there. And this issue of financial autonomy will not be effective.
Think it will be biased.
The way it's supposed to be effective. And let me give you a reason.
Okay.
This thing will be, if I'm a sitting governor now, and I want to conduct a local government election in my state, you know what the electoral law says, that we need to conduct primary in such a way that my party will present candidates in all the let's use Ondo as a case study. In all the local government areas, my party will present candidates. And you know what they play out as a city governor, you know now, and there's going to be an agreement. I'm telling you what will happen. There's going to be an agreement that if Ezekiel, if you want to become a local government chairman in one of the local government areas in my state, come and sign an agreement. By the time your money will be coming from Abuja, this percentage you'll be releasing back to the state government. Don't forget that the money will not be coming to state government again. Will be coming directly from federation account to your own account as a local government chairman. But due to the agreement and due to the fact that you want my party as a state governor to present you for that particular election, knowing full well that any candidate presented by our party will automatically sweep all the local government areas. So there's bound for you to enter an agreement with me that, Mr. Governor, don't worry, present me as your candidate. After winning the election, allocation coming to my local government, about 40% of it will be given back to you as a single. And as I said, that this battle is not over yet. Not until we take local government election. Don't forget that in Abuja, it's INEC that is conducting council areas polls in Abuja. In the last election, we have 6 council areas in Abuja. PDP won some local government areas. APC won some local government areas in Abuja. Not like the way it used to happen across the 30s, that a sitting power in any state that will conduct local government election, you don't even go to mountain to pray to win that election. In as small you belong to that political party, Ezekiel, don't even campaign. Don't paste poster. Don't come to KAFTAN for any GV. Automatically, you are going to win that particular election, because the way the governor will sit somewhere and write results. In Oyo, local government election was conducted in Oyo. In all the 32 local government areas in Oyo State, PDP won all 32 government areas in Oyo State. And when you go to Oyo today, in all the 3 senatorial districts, it's not being occupied by PDP. We have some senatorial districts that under APC. Go to Oyo State House of Assembly. We have some lawmakers that won the election under APC. What now happened during the local government election? That PDP won the whole local government area. But at least we are taking that particular step in such a way that for actualizing this issue of local government autonomy in Nigeria. People have been called. Don't forget that the law even recognizes the 3rd tiers of government. No, we have 3 tiers of government. We have the federal government, we have the state government, and we have the local government. So if people are talking that the judgment of Supreme Court contradicts this issue of Section 62 of Section 3 of the Nigerian Code that talks about federalism, I totally disagree with those people with kind of interpretation from Supreme Court. Don't forget again that Supreme Court is a court of policy. What do I mean? In the sense that they can sit and enact a law without passing through the National Assembly. What Tinubu did now, Buhari did it, and it did not scale through. Why? Because normally, if you want to amend any section of the law, you pass through the National Assembly. Whether a bill from the National Assembly or executive bill from the presidency down to the National Assembly. When Buhari was about to leave office, don't forget that he issued what we call Executive Order 5 in such a way that trying to give financial autonomy to local government areas. He issued that bill from the presidency, he moved it to National Assembly under Ahmed Lawan and Femi Gbajabiamila as Senate President and Speaker of the House of Representatives. They passed that particular law. You understand now? But don't forget that anything that has to do with federal government and state government, after passing the law at the National Assembly, you put it down to all the 36 state houses of assembly. And what do we need? We need just 2/3. The 2/3 of the 36 state House of Assembly is just 24. What do they see? The governors, under former governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi, who was the chairman of Nigerian Governors Forum now, they use their power to kill that particular bill, not to see the light of the day. So when Tinubu was coming, I was live on the radio in Ibadan over this issue, and I was like, it does look like Tinubu is getting his way. The reason is that he was a former governor for 8 years. He understands the system very well. He fought former President Olusegun Obasanjo on this issue of local government autonomy to a point that Obasanjo administration withheld the allocation going to Lagos State during that particular time. As a matter of fact, it was Professor Oshibajo, who was the state attorney general of Lagos State, that sued the presidency under Olusegun Obasanjo down to Supreme Court. Bola Tinubu as the governor of Lagos State, Yemi Osinbajo as the commissioner for justice in Lagos State won that particular case at the Supreme Court. They defeated Olusegun Obasanjo's administration. That was why Tinubu was able to create LCDAs in Lagos State. So coming to office now, he's trying to tell the governors, I've been there before you guys. In fact, when I was a governor, I'm not saying he said it now, but I'm trying to interpret his action that when I was a governor, none of you ever dreamed to become a governor. So he did not follow the footsteps of Buhari, that did not allow the financial autonomy for local government to see the light of the day. He went straight to Supreme Court. He challenged something that initially, when this case was brought to Supreme Court, all the 36 state attorney generals, they challenged the case at the Supreme Court. But at the end of the day, smart AGM we have at Lateef Fagbemi, at the end of the day, Supreme Court gave verdict in support of the federal government of Nigeria. No, at the end of the day, allow local government start getting their allocation directly from the federal government.
Let's talk a little about governance structure in the local government area.
Yes.
And what this Supreme Court verdict, what impact does it have on the current governance structure?
Well, number one impact is that, let's talk about those states with democratically elected local government here, because all the remaining states without democratically elected local government now, in fact, they will smell pepper now, because no allocation will be coming to their states now. They will just be living on the state allocation. They need to work very hard now and to control local government. Let's go back to states with democratically elected.
And when you're done, talk a little as to how we tend to affect the LCDAs also.
In fact, I'm still going there.
Okay.
Because those LCDAs now, you know, they are not recognized by the Constitution.
Yes.
The Constitution only recognizes 774 local government areas. And these governors now that fond of creating LCDAs, try to copy Lagos State, knowing full well that they don't have the economic capacity that Lagos State has. You understand now? Bola Tinubu created that of Lagos State. Amosun created that of Ogun State. Ajimobi created that of Oyo State. Aregbesola created that of Osun State. Fayemi created that of Ekiti State. Now, late Akeredolu created that of Ondo State, even though the case is still in court. Don't forget that the case has been struck out, that Aketi doesn't have power to sign that particular bill outside his jurisdiction. His jurisdiction is Ondo State, but he signed that particular bill into law in Oyo State, another jurisdiction of Governor Seyi Makinde. That's another case now. Is in court now. It's sub judice now. It's in court now. Now, on the issue of viability of those elected local government area, although the money is here to start coming out, I think yesterday, FAC met yesterday to put some template in place in such, we know they've been running joint account before, and it's not a day activities that this thing will be set aside from the state government account. So I think FAC met yesterday that they have to put some templates in place such a way that they do everything possible at the office of the Accountant General of the Federation, so that the moment the money will be coming directly to the local government account. Now, it will make local government viable in such a way that local government chairmen will not be running to governors to ask for money for development. Let me tell you, if you're a local government chairman in your state, Ezekiel, before you embark on any project, you have to write to the state governor that this is what I want to do, take permission. And there's what we call the separation of powers in our constitution, in such a way that as a governor, you have your own executive order to carry out any project. As a president, you have all. Likewise, local government chairman is supposed to have that particular power under our law, in such a way that when you want to carry out any project, your money is coming, do whatever you want to do, as well and so forth. In fact, when you look at the law, there's a key responsibility. In fact, if we want a development in Nigeria, all these things are supposed to go back to local government. You know, I don't know if I made it here on another radio or TV station. I was like, in each local government, all these tasks that government are collecting supposed to be distributed on local government areas, in such a way that after collecting your task, then there's a percentage you will remit to the state government. Let me tell you, it worked under regional government between 1963 to 1966. Under that regional government, then all our IGR then at the southwestern region, there's a percentage we are remitting at the federation account then, but the larger percentage here we use it to develop our region. Likewise, the southeast region and northern region of the country. So I think what we should be expecting and what should be working towards now is that let us see a viable local government areas in such a way that more development will come. In fact, there was a time we were talking, I was like, to arrest the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, we need to empower the local government areas, because insecurity is local in such a way that all this issue of insecurity, they are happening at the local government areas. So if these people are viable, if they have their money to carry out a project, number one, they can also be calling what we call a security summit at their local level system to know their terrain and so on and so forth. They want to talk about the economy. They can sit to design the economy of each local government. This is what we have in my local government. These are the mineral resources embedded in my local government. How can we harness it to develop our local government areas? All this tax levy, all this, don't forget that roads are divided into three. We have trunk K that belongs to the federal government, trunk B belongs to the state government, and trunk C belongs to the local government. All the trunk C roads that link street to street, that can enhance movement from one place on all these rural areas. There was time I was here, and we were talking about this issue of agriculture. The reason why agriculture is not moving in Nigeria because of the bad road system. And all these road systems, they belong to the local government areas. Monies are not coming for these people to develop their local government areas. Now that the money will start coming now, then they can start channeling the money in developing the rural and urban areas so that we can have what we call a regional integration, migration from one place to another, so that economy can boom in each local government area, and we see more development in each local government areas.
Now, Sam, for a breather, the practice of governors receiving local government allocation violates Section 162 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Now, you were talking about regional government in Nigeria in the 60s, how it worked, and there was results. The questions that we often ask ourselves is, our founding fathers created a foundation for this nation. Those blueprints that they created and got fantastic results are still there. It's not like they're obsolete or they've disappeared. Okay, so if we have systems that were working, like the Section 162 of the Constitution as amended, says that governors are not supposed to receive these monies. The monies are supposed to be paid directly to local government. And once upon a time, that rule was there. My simple question as a Nigerian is, where and how did this rule change? And why was the Constitution not used to ensure? Where was the Supreme Court when these rules was changed or were changed to the extent that has brought us to this position now where we're talking about it today?
Let me start from what happened. Between, like I said, between 1963 and 1966, we were practicing regional government. It was when the coup of Gowon came in 1966. So by the time we returned back to our democracy in 1979, we did not go back to regional government. We went back to what we call a federalism, that is a presidential system of government under Shagari in 1979. So since then, we did not return back to regional government in Nigeria again. The question you asked, we got it wrong under former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Not before. Like I said, between 1999 and 2007, it was INEC conducting no government election. And at that particular time, allocation moving down from the federation account down to the local government areas. But at that particular time, some governors, many people may not know, some governors stood up trying to convince Mr. President in such a way that that section was amended to a bond that
162.
Yes, was amended. Then we started having what we call a joint account in such a way that local government money will not going back to local government again. Now we domicile with the state account. Then the governors will now sit to determine the amount of money will go back to local government area. So I think since then we'll be having this, and you see that since then we'll be having problems as far as local government system is concerned in Nigeria. Now, for a typical example, I've said it here and I will say it. Since Peter Obi became governor of Anambra State, till this moment, they've never had local government election. Till today, they've never had a local government election. So that was how the system was then. So we got it wrong during that particular time. When some governors, we don't know what happened to them, that they rose up and tried to convince Mr. President Olusegun Obasanjo, and Constitution was amended to a point that the allocation before going to local government account now started going to state account. Now, then governors have started doing whatever they like with the money in such a way that it did not go down to the local government the way it used to go down to local government before.
We will continue on this analysis When we come back from our break, we want to take a short break now to breathe, to relax, and take some tea behind the scene. So we'll go straight to our Go Start Business segment, which is our break for that moment. When we return, guests will continue on this line of thoughts as we try to find out why Nigerians or governments, successive governments, do not build on the blueprint of our forefathers. Of course, our focus is the local government autonomy, the return of funds, as we're discussing. We'll take that break, and when we return, the conversation will continue. Stay with us. Welcome back. It is still Daybreak Africa, where we're taking a look at the return of funds, local government autonomy. Our analysis is on the verdict by the Supreme Court of Nigeria, and our guest, Mr. Sam, is still here. Before we went on the short break, we were actually discussing or trying to trace back how the 162 point on the Constitution on local government autonomy, was changed. Initially, local governments got direct allocation from the federation account, but something happened. And that is what has brought us to this point that we're at right now. So we want Mr. Sam to continue on his line, but as he tries to explain to us why we are here right now.
So since then, we'll be having the EU. Yar'Adua came on board under Obasanjo, but it did not have enough time now to restructure whether we should go back to where it used to be before. When Jonathan came on board, we understand that Jonathan then didn't have much power over the National Assembly under David Mark then. That was so glaring. And at the end of the day, he left office. When Buhari came on board, during the first year of Buhari, he did not talk about it. When it was about leaving, he understood that we need to give power back to the local government. So he initiated what we call executive order. But hey, governors are powerful in Nigeria. Our governors, they are very powerful in Nigeria. So it will take someone that understands the system to fight them the way Bola Tinubu is fighting. Don't forget that since 1999, it was only Yar'Adua and Jonathan, they were former governors. But that of Yar'Adua, in fact, I tried to trace the history of Yar'Adua when he was the governor of Katsina State for 8 years. We were told that he did not spend much time in Katsina State because of his head moving from one place to another. Eventually became the president. He did not spend much time in office. But when Jonathan came aboard, we have this understanding that Jonathan was brought by some political cabal. There was a time I was there. We're talking about, can we eradicate godfatherism in this country? And that particular show, I told you how Obasanjo became president, how Yar'Adua was brought, how Jonathan was brought as well, how even Buhari was brought to us in 2015. So Jonathan did not do anything then to restore power back to the local government. And since then, people of Nigerians will be talking, yarning the need federal government that will try to restore power to local government, that local government not working, not viable, that the structure has 100% collapsed in such a way that nothing is happening again in local government area. So Buhari tried, but he did not follow the pattern that Bola Tinubu follows today. He went to the National Assembly, but governors then did not allow that to see the light of the day. So I think Bola Tinubu now coming on board now, looking at where he started, when he was the governor of Lagos State now, how he fought Obasanjo to stand still to ensure that he gave what we call life back to local government area, because all these governance we are talking about, all this development we are talking about start from the grassroots. Nothing we start from the top. They have to start from the bottom to top. So he discovered that nothing is working again at the local government system, and that was why he initiated through the office of the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, let's take these guys to court, but we're not following the pattern that Buhari followed, that would not see the light of the day, and they told the governors down to Supreme Court that no, let's give power. And the question has been, why is it that the governors don't want to give power to local government? And these are the governors, don't forget, these are the governors that are calling for state policy. These are the governors that are calling for state control of resources. These are the governors that are calling for devolution of powers. These are the governors that are calling for restructurings. So these are the governors that are calling for a lot of things that they want to put some activities that are under the shoulder of federal government. They want to shed it to their own shoulder. But why is it not difficult
Who is
for these governors now
autonomy?
to allow the local government to breathe, like we used to say?
Remember when we started, I asked, when Ezekiel was asking me about my reaction,
yes.
I said, you know, people have asked the question, and people are asking questions, and one of the questions being asked is, who is afraid of local government autonomy? So I know Ezekiel wants to have questions he wants to ask you before I give him the opportunity.
But I think he wants to really
why are they,
your thoughts.
Yes,
who is afraid of local government autonomy?
The reason why our governors will perform respect to their offices, the reason why they are afraid of local government, because they understand that the moment we have local government autonomy, not the state will not be attractive again for anybody, because everything we start to end at the local government. Because in fact it is quite shameful that all the projects that are supposed to be carried out by local government chairmen and what our governors are commissioning. It is quite appalling seeing governors commissioning water projects, see governors commissioning market, see governors commissioning toilet and so on and so forth. These are the key functions of the local government area. So they know that if the local government, if they have the autonomy, they will not come to them to ask for anything again. Then the development will start at the local government level. So nobody will be looking at the state government. If you have a bad portion of road now, people will be calling for formation for what's to come. But you can go to your local government, call the supervisor for works, that you have to come. As a matter of fact, this issue of health center, permanent care center, you know that it's the responsibility of the local government areas. But governors are the one building health centers. They go there to commission as if they done something very serious. But it is the function of the local government administration system. So if we have a viable local government system in Nigeria, nobody will be looking at these state governors again. Every attention will be centered on the local government system in Nigeria.
You're making this system seems very attractive, but I think that very often we see our governors coming out to say the state funds is not enough. In fact, I've never seen a governor come out to say my fund is enough for my state. Every time they are always on deficit, I think to wonder, will the funding to the local government chairman at this point be enough?
You see,
and just what are they expected to do? Like you say, you made mention of primary health center being a primary, one of the primary works for
local government. Yes.
So what else are we to look onto our chairmen for, and what are we to look onto our state governors for?
Let me start, Ezekiel. Let me start from the issue of governors usually come out to say they don't have enough resources. It's the way they live. You know, a governor will have commissioners, we have special advisor, senior special assistant. I don't understand the two assignments when you are special assistant to Mr. Governor and senior special assistant to Mr. Governor. You know,
it's not just work creation, job creation.
Exactly. They create a lot of offices for themselves, a lot of parastatals under the state. You see now, they live large security vote. You see governor going now with a lot of convoys, but come to the local government level. No local government chairman. We have senior special assistant, technical assistant.
Maybe if the funding come, they will have.
Ezekiel.
Maybe they are not having now because they don't have enough funds to really sponsor that office for now.
Are you looking for work?
Ezekiel, if the funds will come and they start having senior special assistant, blah 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 blah, PA, permanent blah 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 blah, they will run into problem. And don't forget that these local government chairmen, they will not live at the state capital. They will live with their people. People will know where they are living. In fact, the matter of fact, it won't take you more than 200 naira to locate the chairman. the chairman's house. Unlike when you have to wait, when you have to go to bus stop, to go to Akure to go and meet your Mr. Governor. You understand now? So I think what we should be looking at now at this particular time is that we want to see local government in such a way that they will have more responsibility. All these taxes that governors are collecting is the responsibility of the state governors. You understand now? All these companies, anywhere we have companies residing in the local government, it's the function of that local government to collect that particular tax. At the end of the month, they sum everything together. They can give some percentage to the state level. Then they use the remaining one to develop their local government. Don't forget that we have some schools that they call LA, that is local authority primary schools. It is the key function of the local government for them to fund those primary schools. All these drainages that you see that are blocked, that normally call this flood, so it's a responsibility of the local government area. Waste management, I'm telling you what is under Schedule 4 of the Nigerian Constitution is the responsibility of the local government. Cemetery, chaos, so ticketing of these Okada riders, keke riders, truck, it is sole responsibility of the local government. Today, let me tell you, all this ticketing you see, all these backmen are taking, they are going to state postal under IGR. It's not supposed to be. So the money will be coming down to the local government. You see that in each state now, they have what we call State Internal Revenue Service. Like Ondo State, we have OD, that is Ondo State, and it's supposed to be local government internal generated revenue that they will use to generate money to develop their local government, such a way that local government will be viable. Today now, when you go to local government, you see bushes around local government areas. No, some facilities are nowhere kept because they don't have enough funds now to carry out the activities at the local government system. Now, on the issue of LCDAs, now, state or government that is lazy, this is where we are going to know them now. This is where they're going to be exposed. Because money will not come to LCDAs. So money will go to local government, recognized by constitution. Now, how would they do it? It's now left for government to start wooing the local government chairman. If you're a local government chairman, if I'm LCDA chairman, there's no allocation coming to my state from federal. It is your local government, the federal allocation will come. Then, now, if she's the governor of the state, she now start to win you as a local government chairman. Ezekiel, how will you be funding some LCDAs so that these LCDAs will not die? Then you bring some amount of money from local government. She will bring a lot of money from the state government. That's the amount of money they will use to fund these LCDAs. But what people to understand is that the style we have in each LCDAs, they were taken from the existing local government areas. Because this LCDA we're talking about, not that government now carry out another recruitment process. You just move some staff, some department from the existing local government, they put them in the LCDA. So governors now that are lazy, and we'll be saying that our governor need to look inward, Ezekiel. I've said it here, seeing the reward of first audit, allocation to each state has been increased. You see, so what are they doing with the increased allocation? So governors need to look inward. Maybe that's why governors are calling for restructuring, that at least allow us to have control over resources of our state. As we speak today, Ondo State has the largest bitumen, second largest bitumen in the whole world. Not in Africa, in the whole world. The second largest bitumen in the whole world resides in Ondo State, Irele, to be precise. But we know that the governor of the state only have power. You say now, you have to take license from federal government through the NPCL and the Ministry of these petroleum resources. So that's why governors are crying that allow us to control our resources in such a way that we have enough money to run our state. They are calling for that, but they don't want to release the local government under them. So and that's what Nigerians are saying, that if you are calling for destruction, if you are calling for devolution of power, please relieve the local government, let them stand on their own, so that at least we can have what we call separation of power, so that at least no arm of government will be begging another arm to survive. And that's what our local government has been doing since all these years. They've been begging the state governors to survive. That's why you look like today, nothing like local government. In fact, again today, I was talking to someone that this issue of governors being the one swearing in the elected local government chairman, to me, I think it's not right. After winning the elections, allow their swearing to be conducted at the local government, but they will all carry themselves with white agbada. They go to state capitals. They will start in front of governors taking the whole of office. So I think we are heading somewhere with this issue of financial autonomy to local government. But before we can sit here to start laughing that truly autonomy has come to local government area, until we take the election out of the hands of our governors, put it under INEC, then we can say that yes, autonomy has finally come to our local government areas in Nigeria.
Now, Sam, we've all agreed that we've not seen the last of the verdict.
Yes.
But the starting point is to see the execution of the verdict, which everyone is holding their breath to see. Now, you also mentioned state governors jostling and insisting for control of resources. And the bottom line is development that we're talking about. Again, I did say that a lot of questions have been asked about the way forward after the verdict. Some people believe that at the end of the day, that the monies will still be paid to the governors, that it won't go directly to the local government. That's number one. Some also argue that they don't see the development that we sought for at the grassroots being a reality if the monies even eventually get paid directly to the local government areas. There's so much confusion, different voices, different beliefs. So on these grounds, I don't know what you have to say. Number one, state governors asking for control of resources.
Yes.
What if that scales? Is that where we're going now? After we get the local government autonomy, do you see that being the next thing that will be looked into? And if it does happen, what will be the results? Number two, do you think that when eventually the local government areas or local government officials, democratically elected officials begin to get the funds, do you think Nigerians will see that development that they crave for, or is going to be business as usual?
Well, it can't be, let me start from the last question. It can't be business as usual. And I'll give you a typical example. The reason is, don't forget that after this, after the implementation, there's going to, the office of the AGF we create a monitoring unit from the EFCC and ICPC. So the local government chairmen now, Ezekiel, Anire, they should be at alert now. So EFCC, ICPC will be watching over them now. And there's more problem for them. No immunity for them under Section 308. So they can be picked up at any time. Unlike governors, deputy governors, president, and vice president that are covered under Section 308 of the Constitution. That the moment they are in office, if at all it is glaring that they are embezzling money, leave them. By that they leave office like a Abelu now, a lion now that is running away from Eagle now, then we will know what to do. But the local government chairman, they should know that EFCC, ICPC will be on red alert now over them. No, before, nothing like EFCC and IPC, because we know that they don't have any money. Money made for them now, before being coming through the purse of the state governor. But now that the money will be coming directly from Abuja to their purse now, so the office of the AGM will create that monitoring team because he has the power under the law. It will create the monitoring. So at the local government level now, EFCC will be on the lookout. So any local government chairman that misuse or mismanage any fund, in fact, they will not wait for him to leave office because he's not under immunity. They can call on him at any time to come and answer questions. Recently now, you know, the Minister of Women Affairs now, she's facing we're told that she used some amount of money to fuel vehicle to Anambra and so on and so forth. So they can't spend money anyhow because they know that if they do that, they will find themselves in Abuja answering questions from EFCC. So that one, we sink to their brain that immunity doesn't cover them. So if they spend money anyhow, in fact, if it's ordinary allegation that a local government chairman alleged to have spent money anyhow, immediately EFCC will invite that particular local government chairman. So if he has not taken, he can from that office landed himself at the Kuje prison in Abuja. Now the issue of controlling of resources, I think we'll be talking about that it is high time we allowed our governors to start to control their resources, but that will not be actualized not until they grant full autonomy to local government, not only local government, to state houses of assembly today in Nigeria. They are still under the state governor in such a way that, see, let me tell you, you know, in Abuja, National Assembly, if they want to carry out any project, they don't need to go to Mr. President. They have their own project and they have their own budget that they can work on. But at the state houses of assembly, they still run to Mr. Governor. Before the demise of Aketi was the one that renovated on those House of Assembly complex. You know, he was the one that gave all the contract to another contractor, and it's not supposed to be. So we have a lot of things to do before we allow governors to start controlling our resources. Now, if our judiciary at the state level, we'll be talking about that there must be autonomy for them. State House of Assembly, there must be autonomy for them, because today now, governors are still the one writing who becomes a lawmaker at their various state level. I'm telling you, because I was a former media head to a lawmaker, so I know what is playing out in that system. Governor will tell you that if they don't like your face as a female lawmaker at the state level, if they tell you that you are not coming back to the house, accept your fate. Use whatever you want to use now, build the house you want to build, buy cars you want to buy, leave that particular place, you are not coming back. And they tell you that your second ticket is secure. Don't go to any mountain to pray again, no fast again. Your ticket is secure second time. So governors are still controlling the state houses of assembly in Nigeria today, because houses of assembly, they are not autonomous. They are not. So that's why I say that until we have House of Assembly highly autonomous, then local government, then state can start controlling their resources in such a way that they will use it to develop their states so that they will not be running to Abuja. We know the number of bailouts Buhari gave to governor when he was there now. This bailout, at the end of the day, we did not see the impact, possibly bad at the state level. Governors are still crying. Lack of developmental projects is given across the state. How many infrastructure development can you point at in those states now? That's okay. This is what we call infrastructure development. So I think if they want to control their resources, let them grant local government autonomy to financial autonomy to local government, houses of assembly and judiciary under them. Let them allow them to breathe. All these sectors under them. Let them allow them to breathe. Let them stand on their own in such a way that if they want to do anything, they don't need to go to Mr. Governor to go and beg before they get anything done. So if that one should be in place, then we can be talking about controlling resources in such a way that at least they can stand on their own, they can generate more money on their own, then there's no need of waiting for government. We were told yesterday that federal government is trying to deliver some chunk of right to some states now for them not to give to their citizens. So if they are controlling their resources and they have enough money, there's no need of running to federal government again for any slight thing now. You see governors now running to federal government for money and so on and so forth. So at least before we can agree for them to start controlling their resources, let them do the needful so that all sectors under them, they stand on their own, they don't need to beg them because governors are powerful.
Now we tend to agree to the fact where we want autonomy for the local government.
Yes.
Chairman. The thing is, many things to argue that for the meantime,
yes,
the administration for the local government chairman will be rather confusing and chaotic. Do you believe for now they do not know what they are really headed for, what they want to do at this point, because it has not been done before? For a very long time. So it's more like a new thing for them,
new terrain,
and they may not really handle everything adequately at this point.
Ezekiel, for us not to get into that trouble, I think by the time we'll be having the local government election, we need to look for those with kind of experience in becoming local government chairman.
Experience.
Yes, experience. And what do I mean by experience? Those maybe in one capacity or the other, they've worked with the state government before, whether a special advisor to Mr. Governor and so on, whether a former lawmaker and so on and so forth, but the little experience such a way that you understand what you want to do. Another thing is for you to have the capacity, another is for you to have your understanding. If you have the capacity without understanding, you won't do anything. Understanding will be the one to tell you that this is what to do, this is how to do, and this is when to do, and this is what might happen if you don't do. So I think we need a little experience. Now, what do I mean? Since 1999, Obasanjo became president. Don't forget, he was a former military general. So the experience is there, whether under military or not. It was the one that gave power to Shagari in 1979. Yar'Adua became president in 2007. He was a former governor of Katsina State. You can't say he doesn't have experience. Jonathan became president. In fact, that Jonathan happens to be a kind of case study. From deputy governor to acting governor to acting governor now to vice president, from vice president to acting president to president. So you can't say he doesn't have experience when he was there in Bayelsa State. Buhari came. Buhari was, in fact, under was he under Shagari or under Gowon? He was the minister of petroleum resources. That I'm talking about Buhari. Don't forget that he was one that took over from Shagari military coup in 1984. So the experience is there. This Baba Emilokan is there. It was the former governor of Lagos State. So what I'm saying is that whoever will become a local government chairman, for him or her not to run into the trouble that I agree with you, Ezekiel, that if we throw anybody to become a local government chairman, it can take them a whole year to develop a system. So I will know that under concern they have 3 years to spend in office. So if you use a year to develop a template, 2 years will be too small for you to say you want to complete anything. So we need someone with a kind of background experience, especially in local government administration. So when we are throwing out who will become the local government chairman, we need to understand and we need to scrutinize their political pedigree and as citizens. Is this someone who has been in the system before, who understand how to run the system in such a way that we not elect someone that will be giving you excuses that, this system has been collapsed, so give me some time. Just like Elofo Kambale, go and relax. So we don't want people that will come with Elofo Kambale again. We want people that will come and eat the ground running at the local government system, because people are waiting for development from the local government system, basically, just like a baby child. You can't give birth to a baby today and expect the baby in the next two or 3 days to start walking. So you need a kind of stages, crawling, walking, and so on and so forth. So we need someone with a kind of I'm not talking about huge expense, but at least that understands how local government administration supposed to be. So we need kind of people to come, and that is why and our agree that anytime we want to have a local government election, they should hold the mandate that we should subject them to what we call a debate. You don't just say that I want to go to local measurement and go to the polling. No, let's interview. Let us hear them. What do they have to offer at the local government? Because we're talking. It's just like a car that has been abandoned for years, and you want to get the car running again. You know that it takes a good driver now that will understand that no, this car has been on the path for a long time. Then let's start on. So we need people with little experience that will come and kick everything running again, who understand the economic viability of local government system and so on and so forth, and who understand what the law says about how to run a local government to meet the yearnings and the demand of the people at the local government areas, not people that will draw us back again.
You mentioned certain key factors as to strengthen this local government autonomy. You made mention of the fact where you would prefer not the state to conduct those elections. Yeah. I tend to wonder, in few minutes, short minutes, I tend to wonder, do you think that any other factor or amendment that needs to be done, and how does this really currently now affect our political landscape in Nigeria? And I mean, is this more like a coming of something new that will lead us to something better? Or is it more like maybe it comes shining and glittering, but at the end, it takes us back to...
So let me just add to that. What should Nigerians expect if this pulls through eventually? Just adding to what he's saying.
Ezekiel, we've had it before. It's not new to Nigerians. And that's why Nigerians were saying that, please, take the local government back to where it was before you send us. So people understand how the same were being run before you send us. So I think it won't be new for us now that going back to local government system. Then again, on this issue of election, like I said now, we are still at the end of this particular race, in as much governors are still the one conducting local government elections. So let's take it out of state governors. Let's give it to INEC to start conducting our election again.
Expectation
of people is that they want more local government development in such a way that if anything should happen now, people call on the single. If you have any flood in any area and in any street now, people will start calling governor. Yes. Governor, there's a flood here, there's a flood there. But I think it should be a different of local government areas. Something that happened, local government must to come and do it. Go to most of our primary schools. They have what we call a dilapidated structures in such a way that you will, when you go to the primary schools, is the first one of local government areas. We have some bushes area in our communities. All this issue of agriculture. Let local government sit with our farmers. How will you develop agriculture in your local government area in such a way that all these food scarcity we have in Nigeria now will be subsided? So empower your local government farmers. Then this is of insecurity. You know your local government. How will you secure your local government? This is what people are expecting. How will you secure your local government against external forces so that your local government will be well secured? Then how can you move your local government forward? This is of unemployment we are talking about. We can start reducing unemployment from the local government level. When you have a viable local government area, in fact, this issue of skill acquisition is highly domiciled at the local government level. That the governors are now having access to governor of skill acquisition now is supposed to be the responsibility of local government. Let local government take the responsibility of skill acquisition, or whether graduate or no graduate, integrate them, let them have a skill, then put them in the market, support them with capital. Then you see unemployment rate, the curve now coming down.
Thank you very much.
So that's what people are expecting.
I think this proves the fact where we know for a fact that the governors currently, their burden is more like being shifted and they have less work to do. I think it's a good thing anyway.
Definitely.
All right.
Yes, but they don't want to agree that they have less work to do now. They are still fighting that they should give them local government. No, they should allow local government to breathe. Governors, please.
Yes, we want to appreciate our guest, Olorunfemi Oladayo Samson, for coming on the show, and as usual, very fiery with his ideas. We appreciate you and hope to see you again and again. Our guest is a political analyst, a trained journalist, a columnist, a former media editor, lawyer, educationist and public relations manager. Our topic today, return of funds, analysis of Supreme Court's local government autonomy verdict. We thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so that's Daybreak for today. I am Anire. Binitie, thanks for watching. For me, bye for now.
You do have a lovely day. I am Ezekiel, Ogar.
you.